This week on the announcers table, we're discussing our Extreme Rule predictions and also the results. And we're discussing both Raw and SmackDown.
Was I supposed to remember my predictions? Because I didn't write them down.
What's going on, Wrestle Geeks? Welcome to another episode of the announcers table. I am your host, the man that needs no introduction, B-Rye. With me, as always, the co-host you love to hate, the Canadian screwjob himself, Hertz Gewurz.
Man, that was such a bad pay-per-view. We got to get right into it.
Was it worse than what was it, Backlash or no? What was it?
It was. I think
Elimination
Chamber.
Elimination Chamber.
Elimination Chamber was pretty bad. I think it's on par with Backlash. It wasn't quite as bad as the Greatest Royal Rumble, but we're not talking about a good show.
No, we're definitely not talking good show. The one good thing I can actually say about the show was that we did not get a Roman Reigns Bobby Lashley main event.
That's true. But we're getting a Roman Reigns Bobby Lashley main event. That's what's happening that's not SummerSlam.
No, that's happening next week. Unfortunately, we're gonna get
huh?
Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns 2, and which will probably lead into Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar 6. Who knows? Who knows?
God.
But we'll discuss that later on in the show. All right, Wrestle Geeks, we're going to go right into what Hertz Gewurz said. We're going right into the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. I'm not going to lie, the pre-show had me hyped with the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Sanity and the New Day put on a great pre-show tables match. I was like, wow, these two teams should have not been on the pre-show. They should have been on the main card, especially the way that Team Hell No went out and the way the entire night started for them. I just thought that was just horrible. You tease us with something, and then you take it right away from us. And that's been the theme for the past few months with WWE, is that they tease us with something, and then they don't pull the trigger, and they take it away from us. Yet they want to know why, ratings are down. They want to know why people are not investing into the product. It's because you're hyping up all this storyline just to take it away from us or rip the rug right out from under our feet.
Take it away from us, or just give it to us ad nauseum until we don't want it anymore, right? Like they did with Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles. We wanted that match forever, and then we got it 9 times in a row.
With the same results.
Yeah, with the exact same result every time.
So let's get right into it. Like we said, New Day, Sanity opened up the entire pay-per-view and the pre-show. Great tables match. We already knew New Day and Sanity would be able to hold down, the pre-show. 2 great tag teams. Love how the New Day decided to work with Sanity to, get them over. I love that they got them over. The New Day has nothing else to accomplish unless they push into singles careers, which I hope they would do. I would love to see, Xavier Woods as maybe a U.S. champion or maybe an IC champion. Kofi we've already seen as a IC champion and a U.S. champion. The only title he is missing from his resume is both the Universal and WWE Championship. Never know, it might happen one day. We got, Jinder Mahal, so hey, things are possible.
Yeah, I think, like you said, first of all, the match was great, right? Sanity is excellent. I think I've said this on the show before. I used to watch Eric Young over on TNA, and I didn't think he was anything special. So, whatever they're doing with him here on WWE, it worked in NXT, and it's working so far. I'm sort of cautiously optimistic that it's going to continue working. Whatever they're doing with him here, it's working, and he looks good, and he's doing a great job leading the younger guys. Killian Dane, he's doing a good job leading them, and making their matches cohesive, which is not an easy thing to do when you don't have a lot of build and you don't have a lot of storyline to work with. He's doing a good job of making these matches work and making everything look good when Sanity's out there, and you can see he's sort of taking the lead there, and it's really cool to see that.
Yeah, it is very cool. And like you said, you said before, Eric Young came from TNA. Also, Xavier Woods came from TNA. And these two guys actually came from not being top stars, and look at them now. And, not to push anything away from TNA, you know, they're not a great promotion, but they're not a bad one. But I give all the credit to Triple H. Triple H down at NXT is showing these guys how WWE does television, how WWE does wrestling. And, you know, a lot of these guys, even a lot of these indie guys, are more excited to go to NXT rather than straight to the main roster. You know, because, one, the fan base down at NXT is like no other. It's like a whole different universe down there. Also, the way they do TV in NXT, it may be the same as the main roster, but it's totally different. I think Triple H gives more leeway when it comes to promos. I think Triple H does the right thing where he just tells these guys, listen, give it you all, do what you gotta do. And plus, Triple H knows the business. You know, a lot of us are looking forward to seeing Triple H take over for Vince McMahon once Vince McMahon goes on to do XFL Part 2. You know, I really think Vince has lost his touch with not only his promotion, but with the audience. You know, you give the WWE Universe a tease, a tickle, and then, like I said, you take it away. Hence, and I'm going to point out the most obvious one, which is Sasha versus Bayley. You know, this has been going on since last year, since 2017, where these two have been at each other's throats. And every time they build up to where we think we're going to finally get a match, guess what? They rip the carpet right under us.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I mean, I don't want to jump around too much, but what they're doing with Sasha and Bayley, did Sasha Banks just profess her love for Bayley, like
she
right there live on TV, and then they just didn't say anything about it, and they just moved on to the next thing?
Yeah, and this is what we have to deal with. This is the reason why we probably won't do another podcast show till probably SummerSlam, because there's really, I mean, I have no issue with it. I hope y'all fans have no issue with it. If our fans listen and if our fans watch, you got to understand the product is not as good. It was better in 2017 than it has been all of 2018.
Oh yeah, for sure. It hasn't been anything this year. Like, it has been so bad this year that there is nothing for us to work with. Like, and I don't want to come on every week and just talk about how bad it is.
And to be honest, I said this in one of our past episodes. I think the main issue is this dual branded pay-per-views. It's not given enough time to build up storyline. As this before, like I said, you have in between months. You can drag out a storyline for 8 weeks until your pay-per-view comes up, and you know what? It probably would have gave us a better show or a better product than it is now. Like I said, this Extreme Rules pay-per-view, not only was it predictable, but it was horrible. And I'm gonna tell you why it was horrible. Carmella versus Asuka. They screwed over Asuka again on a stupid finish. Yep. This is a woman who went undefeated for 944 days, who never lost a match, who gave up the title down at NXT to come up to the main roster because she was tired of the competition down at NXT. Granted, I love the fact that she lost to Charlotte. Charlotte is the best female competitor in WWE between both rosters. Was I upset that she lost to Charlotte? No, but you're having to lose to Carmella. Carmella's not even a great performer.
No.
Granted, she is a good heel. I'll give her that. She can draw heat just like the best of them, but she is not. I'm putting it this way: she's no Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss can talk on the mic. Alexa Bliss can wrestle. Alexa Bliss can do it all.
Yeah, I was just gonna say she's basically a taller, less talented Alexa Bliss at this point in her career. Carmella is, I like her on the mic, but she's just not good enough right now. And it would have made so much sense to have Asuka win that match, but I don't understand this infatuation that WWE seems to have with James Ellsworth and letting him decide matches in the women's division. Like, it doesn't make any sense. He's not funny. He's not interesting. He's not good. Like, what does he have? This is one of these ones where I must have a blind spot, right? I must be missing something. He must be better than I think he is. But I don't see it. And I don't understand what they're doing with him.
I don't see it neither. I was so upset at the finish because she's just being distracted by Ellsworth, and then she just gets pushed into the shark cage. 1, 2, 3, match over. And I'm like, you know what? You might as well just ask for your release. At least Bray Wyatt resurrected his career after that, Hardy compound, whatever the shit was. I mean, that weird match that he had where he got thrown into the lake. But at least his career is somewhat resurrected.
Liked that match.
But it's just like, come on.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make none of this makes any sense. I don't understand what they're doing to Asuka. Right? It's like they're punishing her for having been so good for so long.
And she's great in the ring. Yes, granted, her English is not perfect, but she could be another Ronda Rousey. Just don't put the mic in her hand.
Yeah, that's all you have to do. You don't put the mic in her hand. You let her scream in Japanese. It's scary as hell when she's doing that. Like when she starts getting really pissed off, she just starts screaming at people in Japanese. That's awesome.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's the same as when Ronda Rousey has her angry face. That's scary as hell. I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Now moving on. What else did we get? We got the so we got Team Hell No and the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, first of all, as soon as the pay-per-view starts about a match in, there's some commotion going on. They break Kane's ankle. They ambush Team Hell No. Daniel Bryan, granted, he tried to do this by himself. He couldn't. Kane comes out, to let DB know, listen, I'm here for you. Kane is working on one leg. Am I upset at the fact that the Bludgeon Brothers retained? No, I am not. But the way how this all played out in the beginning got me upset.
Yeah, there was no need for that.
You make the Bludgeon Brothers seem undefeated. You make it seem like everybody's scared of them, but that you have them take out Daniel Bryan and Kane an hour and a half before their match makes no sense.
No, they could have just had them if they didn't want to put the tag titles on Team Hell No. You could just have the Bludgeon Brothers win clean. The Bludgeon Brothers have already beaten the best two tag teams that you got, right? They've beaten the New Day, they've beaten the Usos. So they're established as a really good team. You have Kane take a pin to one of those guys. It's not going to ruin Kane's career. It's not going to ruin Daniel Bryan. Like, if you didn't want to put... And also, I always hate when WWE does this. If you didn't want to put the tag titles on Team Hell No, why are you bringing them back 2 weeks before the pay-per-view?
Exactly.
Like, what are we doing?
Exactly. And granted, I'm not taking nothing away from SmackDown. Like I said, SmackDown's been the better show between Raw and SmackDown. It's been the totally opposite between the both shows. But what is going on with the storytelling? Now, we also... What was the other match we had? Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke. Am I upset about this match? No, because it was how you expect Shinsuke to handle the match. But an 8-second match? Come on.
Yeah. I mean, they gave us the match we were supposed to have mostly Tuesday night on SmackDown. I mean like the actual match. The finish was stupid, but the actual match that Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy put together on Tuesday was very good.
It was good. Listen, I'm like I said, I'm not mad about the match. I'm glad that they finally gave Shinsuke a title. It may have not been the WWE. I mean, I think he deserves the WWE title more than he does the US Championship. But I'm still glad that he has a title. Yet we do know that Jeff Hardy has been working through an injury, the entire time he's had the US title. And granted, he can't do much because of it. And I'm glad, he had a good run. I think Shinsuke is the perfect person to go on with the US title. Like I said, I love his heel character. I think he's perfect as a heel. But an 8-second match, like, come on. Even Carmella and Asuka's match was maybe like what, 5-8 minutes? Like,
it felt long.
To me, it felt like this pay-per-view was just rushed and everything was so quick.
Yeah, because you said it, because they had to fit so many matches on.
And think about it. When I looked at the time, the pay-per-view ended. It was like 10:45. The past few pay-per-views, they've been going past 11 o'clock.
That's true.
So, like, why are you rushing? Why are we rushing these matches?
It's an excellent point. They rushed their way through, and for what? Like, there wasn't anything that they really needed to get to. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't need an extra 5 or 10 minutes to, recover from anything else that we saw on the show. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you rush through because you got to get to a surprise return. I don't know, maybe Randy Orton was supposed to take longer or do something more, but there wasn't really anything else on the show that needed more time.
It didn't. Now I wanna shout out your boys, my boys, the B team.
Oh, the B stands for best.
who defied all odds, who surprised everybody. I mean, even the crowd was surprised at the result of this match. For winning the Raw Tag Team titles against the Deleted of Worlds, I did not see this coming. I mean, we predicted that we would like to see them win.
Yeah.
And we didn't think that they would do it, but, kudos to them. I think this was a very good match. Like I said, it's weird to see Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas being that they're brothers in real life, to see them in the ring and see how similar and similar and different that they are.
Yeah.
And the fact that these dudes just celebrated 24 hours, like,
it was really cool.
I just thought it was great. I thought it was really great.
It was well done. It was well put together, and it's one of those matches where you can see that these are all three of the four guys. I mean, Matt Hardy's been around the block for he's been around for a long time, but Bray Wyatt, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel are all guys you can tell need a good gimmick, and I think they're all finally falling into one. You know what I mean? Like, these are all guys who are good in the ring. They put on good shows every time they go out there. They're all very good on the mic, and they just need a good story to follow to get them to that next level. And I think this is one of those matches where you really saw that.
Yeah. It was like I said, it was good to see them win. In between the pay-per-view, we had Kurt Angle promo to issue an ultimatum to Brock Lesnar and his advocate.
This was the best part of the show.
It really was. And did you see how hyped the crowd got?
Yeah. They killed it the next night on Raw, but in this moment, when I thought they were actually going to strip Brock Lesnar of the title, I was so happy. I thought this was the best.
I thought that was good. All right, so we covered the B team, we covered Asuka, we covered Shinsuke. Shout out to Randy Orton for making a return and beating the hell out of Jeff Hardy at Extreme Rules.
And then beat him a lot worse Tuesday night on
We'll
SmackDown.
get into that later on. I haven't seen that type of Randy Orton in a long time, and I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah, if that's the Randy Orton we're getting back, I'm excited.
The next match I'm going to talk is one of the matches I kind of predicted it was going to go this type of way. Not exactly how it went. Was Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens.
Woo!
Did you get that feeling of Undertaker versus Mankind reincarnated?
Little bit. And I was not expecting that out of Kevin Owens. Now I should have been, right? Because he's been thrown off a ladder before, right? But that was nuts.
It was nuts. As you remember last week, I said I see Kevin Owens winning this match due to Braun Strowman maybe like throwing him through the cage and the cage breaking. I did not see him getting choke slammed off the cage. But shout out to KO for taking this huge bump.
Yeah.
The crowd loved it. The crowd was hyped.
I was thinking they were going to do some shenanigans where, like, Kevin Owens is on top of the announce table and then he's on the stretcher so his feet never touch the floor, so whenever Braun Strowman left the cage, that's when he won. Like, I was kind of expecting that, but then nobody paid any attention to that. So
yeah, no way. But like I said, it just shows that what Braun Strowman and Kevin Owens can do with each other. I'm gonna put it this way. Kevin Owens has been in wrestling for 18 plus years. Braun Strowman learned his craft down at the Performance Center, down at NXT. And I gotta be honest, in 5 years, he looks really good. He looks better than a lot of people that's on the main roster. And I like I said, I like the finish because it just adds to like his highlight reel for as far as Braun Strowman goes to show that how much of a monster he is. But it also gives Kevin Owens a much needed win. And a creative win at that, because it's like, wow, this guy got thrown off the cage, landed on the announcer's table, shout out to our show, and gets the W. Like,
yeah, no, that's pretty cool. And he gets to come back. I know he didn't show up this week on Raw, but he gets to come back next week and say, I beat Braun Strowman in a cage match. So, like, that's huge for him, and that should earn him something. It should earn him a shot at a title.
Yeah, something. Okay, so then we already spoke about the Team Hell No in the Bundle. So let's go. Bobby Lashley versus Roman Reigns. Now, the finish of this, I did not expect. I expected Roman Reigns coming out on top. We got Bobby Lashley, who finished Roman Reigns with his own finisher, which was a spear. I mean, it was an okay match. We still got a lot of chants from the crowd.
I would have joined him if I was in the building. Like this was the most blah whatever. Like, and I've said it a bunch of times. Like Roman Reigns is good in the ring, right? I'm not a Roman Reigns hater in that way, but my God, I did not care about this match.
None of us did.
Like I could not get into it.
It's two big egos going at each other. That's how I look at it. And yet again, we get the Bobby Lashley vertical suplex finisher.
Whatever. Like I'm 100% out on Bobby Lashley. He can't. He's so awkward when he talks.
Yeah.
And he's no good. I can't.
I think he's another guy who don't put a mic in his hand and he'll be great.
Just give all these people to Paul Heyman. Like I want
just make a Paul Heyman stable.
I absolutely want a Paul Heyman stable. Like that. Not to go off the track too much, but that's how you get us to not care so much that Brock Lesnar is not on TV, right? Roman Reigns wants a shot at Brock Lesnar. Okay, well you got to go through Chad Gable and Bobby Lashley and who else can't talk? All sorts of people. Like all the guys that can't really talk but can wrestle. Like you got to go through all 6 of these guys to get to Brock Lesnar. Okay, then Brock Lesnar gets to be off TV for 7 weeks, and we don't even notice.
Exactly. And not only that, you got to remember when Roman Reigns came up, who did most of the talking for him? Either Seth Rollins or Dean Ambrose.
Exactly.
He was just a guy that said, believe that. And we all loved it. Hey, yeah, believe that, yeah. That was just horrible. Now, I'm not going to take anything away. I think he needs to be put in the ring with somebody who can actually do a promo. And I'm going to take us back to August of last year when he had a verbal confrontation with John Cena. You remember that?
Yeah, that was great.
And that was great. And even John Cena said it took your entire career up until now to actually do a decent promo, which I thought was great. Like I said, when it comes to John Cena, not a fan, but he can do a promo.
He can, yeah. He knows. I mean, he's been doing it a long time. He's not doing it now. He knows how to work the crowd.
Yeah.
A lot like the Miz does. I think the Miz is better, but like the Miz knows how to work that crowd, which is
like I said, if I had to choose, it would be my number one would be mixed because it either be the Miz or Alexa Bliss, and like I said, I have to put her up there because her promos are just like
fire.
Yeah, so bringing up Alexa Bliss, she defended the Raw Women's Championship against Nia Jax.
Are you sure? Wasn't Ronda Rousey in this match? I'm pretty sure Ronda Rousey was somewhere.
Ronda Rousey was in the match. Well, she wasn't in the match. She had bought a ticket to the show. We already knew that something was gonna happen, especially when Nia Jax brought down Natalya. But I gotta give it to you. I wasn't too much of a fan of this match. The fact that Ronda Rousey decided to jump the barricade and insert herself into this match, I thought it was okay and made it a little bit more entertaining. Just watch her mop the floor with Mickie James, even though they fucked up about 1,000 times.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what Mickie James is still doing in WWE, by the way.
I think she's just there to, just to help the other younger talent. I mean, I will keep her around. I mean, it's the same way how the guy who is down there. They still got Titus O'Neil. We don't know what the hell Titus O'Neil is doing down there, But he's there because he has experience and he can, teach these other guys how the business goes and stuff like that. Or, slide under the ring in the Royal Rumble. You get crazy moments like that. But eventually, Alexa Bliss retains the title. But I want to talk about when she made her entrance. She went directly to Ronda Rousey and just stared her down, which I loved. Cool. And then when she gets into the ring, she, puts a title over her shoulder like she normally does, and then she grills Ronda Rousey again. I love it. And the fact that this is gonna set up Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss. I wasn't a fan of this match at first, but I'm so looking forward to it because I know that Alexa Bliss is gonna carry Ronda Rousey, not only with her promos, but with her in-ring skills. And if Alexa Bliss loses, I wouldn't even be upset. Because we already know it's coming.
Yeah,
we know it's coming.
It's Rousey Flair at WrestleMania.
Exactly, and that's a match I'm looking forward to. You already had Flair beat Asuka. I see Flair beating Rousey at WrestleMania, and then I see Rousey gone after that.
Oh, really?
Well, she wanted to start a family, but she said before she wanted to start a family, she wanted to do the one thing that was in her heart, which was to perform in WWE. She got the biggest moment of WrestleMania 34, which you and I we did our review, and that was one of the matches that we loved because it was just so entertaining. I still see Ronda Rousey wrestling, but she does want to start a family, so I'm not sure it's gonna be after this WrestleMania or maybe after the next one. But we'll see. This was supposed to be an Extreme Rules match. All we got was 1, 2, 3 trash cans, a chair shot. If these two women, they should have went all out. If you have an Extreme Rules match and you're trying to compete with the men, you got to do more. Yeah. And granted, they were probably given a time limit. Like we said, we felt like a lot of the matches were rushed. But
yeah, well, they had to get to the part where Ronda Rousey came in to interfere. So.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next. Let's move on to probably one of the better matches of the night: AJ Styles versus Rusev on Rusev Day. This match was actually good. It wasn't great, but it was good. You could see that AJ had to take control most of the times in the match. Granted, him and Rusev probably never wrestled, or they have never wrestled. And it took AJ Styles a while and Rusev a while to see it, to get into each other's grooves. But shout out to both Rusev and AJ for trying to work the crowd and get them hyped. And shout out to Aiden English for interfering without without getting caught, and it backfired on him.
Absolutely, and it was a really good match. I don't know that AJ Styles never puts on a bad match. It wasn't one of his best, but
he carried Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, so come on.
This was a good AJ Styles match, and it was a lot of fun, and there wasn't anything about it that my only issue is, and I know that the next match we're going to talk about turned out to be a better one, but this should have been the main event. AJ Styles needs to be main eventing these shows, and I don't understand why he's not.
And like I said, they're treating the Universal title as the main title, and they're treating the WWE Championship like it's the WCW Championship, which it shouldn't be.
No.
I said this, you said this. AJ should be main eventing these pay-per-views, and this is the reason why a lot of people are not watching these pay-per-views, because you're always either shoving Roman Reigns down our throat, either shoving Bobby Lashley or Brock Lesnar. No, give us AJ Styles main event. I think your pay-per-views would be better. But AJ comes out with the W thanks to the assist by Aiden English for removing the turnbuckle.
Shout out to removing the cover of the turnbuckle. I feel like that's something I haven't seen in a long time. That's an old school wrestling move.
It is.
I like it.
It is, and it was even done by Rusev. It was done by Aiden English, who was on the outside, he tried to help. It was for him to help Rusev, but it backfired. Shout out. I gotta give it to them doing that old school. Now let's move on to the main event. This is one of the main events, or one of the matches that we said should be the main event of the night. These two guys deserve it.
They put on the best. They put on the best match of the night. I think I said before the pay-per-view that this was going to be the best match of the night, and it was. And even the weird part at the end, where if you wanted to not have a tie, couldn't they have just announced that beforehand? This is one of those things that it always gets to me, and I understand that the answer is because the show is scripted, right? I get that that's the answer, but I'm supposed to sit here and believe that this is a live sporting event that I'm watching. I'm suspending my disbelief for that. And when Kurt Angle comes out and he's like, no, you know what? We had a tie. Nobody here wants to see a tie. We're going to go to sudden death overtime. Couldn't you have just said that at the beginning of the show? Or, 3 weeks ago when you made the match? Just say, if it's a tie, we're going to sudden death overtime. That's the rule of an Iron Man match.
I didn't want this to end in a tie. That would have just been a waste. And like I said, I love that Kurt Angle came out and said, we're going to do sudden death. The match was great. The only issue it had was the interference by Drew McIntyre 2 times.
I liked it. I was a fan. I was a fan both times. That's one of those things, right? Where that's one of those things where that helps me suspend my disbelief, because if you're out there, you can have your guy beat the living hell out of your opponent, and it only counts against you once.
Exactly.
You can get 2 or 3. You could get 2 or 3 falls out of that. So absolutely, that's great strategy. I love it.
Yes, but when it came to the second time, horrible.
What was he doing?
He just came up to the ring. Seth Rollins, boom, gets hit with the zigzag. 1, 2, 3, match over. I'm like, what? We still got 15 minutes left.
What was the point of restarting the match if you were just going to end it immediately?
Exactly. For that, you should have just let it end in a tie.
Yeah, at that point, yeah, you should have just let it end when it ended the first time.
Oh, man. So, I mean, I'm going to give Extreme Rules a 4, and that's me being generous.
And that's really all the Iron Man match.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Man match, Ronda Rousey being there. Like I said, she's a money machine. She can draw fans. So, most of the fans were there to see Ronda Rousey. Yeah, man, a 4. I mean, last month's pay-per-view was better than this one. And I was and before we discuss Raw and SmackDown, I was reading an article on how WWE needs to get rid of these gimmick pay-per-views, hence Extreme Rules, hence TLC, hence and they brought up a good point. Why can't we go back to the day when we had a pay-per-view, it meant something about the storyline, hence Judgment Day, hence Backlash, hence No Mercy, hence
Sure.
Why give us these gimmick pay-per-views where we already know we're going to get the gimmick match? It used to be fun when it was King of the Ring, but yet we had a Hell in a Cell match involved.
Yeah, and yeah, they did the King of the Ring matches, but also, yeah, there was other storyline matches.
Exactly. They need to, I think they really, and I agree with that article, is that they need to get rid of these gimmick pay-per-views. I mean, if you look at what NXT doing, yeah, they have NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, NXT TakeOver Chicago, but it's still fresh. They're doing fresh things. Hence, NXT New Orleans, we had a ladder match for a new North American Championship, which was a great match. Yet again, there's been maybe 3-4 ladder matches since NXT's been put into existence. Mm-hmm. We got War Games last year. Phenomenal match.
Yeah.
And they're going to do it again.
They had other matches around War Games.
Yeah, and they're going to do it again, which I'm all hyped for. I just want to see the teams that they're going to choose to do War Games. But like I said, at least NXT pay-per-views are not, from gimmicks. Oh, well, this is that. No, it's always the same. NXT TakeOver Chicago, NXT TakeOver Los Angeles, NXT TakeOver, it just goes by the city they're going to.
Yep. No, you're absolutely right. WWE needs to take a good look at what it is that they're doing, and they need to change some things up.
Yeah. So let's move on to Raw and let's move on to SmackDown post Extreme Rules. The night starts off with Kurt Angle coming to the ring, stating that he hasn't heard from Brock Lesnar in 24 hours. So I'm thinking, yes, he's gonna strip the title, and guess who shows up?
I was hype.
And guess who shows up? Paul Heyman.
You know what? I loved. I hope they don't do it too much, but I loved that Kurt Angle interrupts Paul Heyman during his, little opening speech or whatever.
Yeah.
We know who you are. We know who you represent. I loved it. Don't do it too many times. Do it once in a while. That was excellent.
And I love the fact that he says, I like the fact that Brock has a dream of doing something, but he's not gonna do it here. Because Paul Heyman said, Brock Lesnar wants to go into UFC with the Universal title and then come out with the UFC title and represent both companies at one time. I mean, to me, it sounds good, and it sounds to me like Vince and Dana White are working behind the scenes with each other.
Yeah.
It has to be.
To make that happen.
I mean, there has to be. But the fact that not only did Kurt Angle interrupt Paul Heyman, but these two gentlemen got interrupted by Lashley, Drew McIntyre, which I thought was great.
Yes, absolutely.
Finn Balor, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and our boy Elias.
Now, for Roman Reigns, he lost his match at Extreme Rules. Everyone else who came out there won their match. Mm-hmm. Or I don't think Elias had a match. Why is Roman Reigns so what Kurt Angle did to resolve the whole situation is He made 2 triple threat matches, and the winners will face each other for a chance to face Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. Why is Roman Reigns in one of those matches? Like,
because he's the unofficially crowned Universal Champion.
He didn't even ask to be a part of it, right? He just came out. He was like, "Look, I lost my match. I just want to fight somebody." And Kurt Angle should have been like, "Okay, you're gonna fight Kurt Hawkins later tonight. Let me deal with the main event right now."
Yeah, but that didn't happen. Like I said, here they are again trying to shove Roman Reigns down our throats.
I mean, they just keep giving him opportunity after opportunity, and it doesn't. It's gotten a little bit comical at this point. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
And yet again, here we have Finn Balor, a man who never lost the Universal Championship, a man who never got his contractual rematch, and he can never get past Roman Reigns. He can never get past Seth Rollins. Like, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely, it doesn't make any sense. I really wished he would have just come out and asked for his contractual rematch. He was like, "Oh, you need an opponent for Brock at SummerSlam. I never got my rematch. Let's do it."
I would have been happy with that.
Yeah, I would have been happy. Brock and Finn Balor is an excellent match. You have Finn Balor come out as the Demon too. Like, that's a good match.
Exactly, but we're not going to get that.
We're not going to get it.
I mean, to be honest, I think that was the best part of Raw for the entire night.
Just that open. Yeah, that open was pretty good.
It was. It was, and we usually talk about how opening the show with a promo usually sucks, but this was actually a good promo. And I'm going to tell you why it was a good promo. Because you had one of the best promo guys, which was Paul Heyman, come out. You have Kurt Angle, cut him off. Then you have these 6 guys come in. Now, mind you, out of these 6 guys, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 of them were former champions. And then you have 2 who are trying to make a name for himself, which is Elias and Drew McIntyre. Finn Balor's a champion, Seth Rollins was a champion, Roman Reigns was a champion, Bobby Lashley was a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it's and McIntyre even got to move his story forward a little bit. He said, "I'm not here to help Dolph Ziggler. I'm here to help myself," and that's great.
And he said it too. He said, "I hope Dolph Ziggler retain the IC title. My job is done."
Yeah, great. Excellent story. Excellent storytelling.
Exactly.
Drew McIntyre should have won that match.
He should have. Either Drew or Finn Balor.
Yeah.
But no, we get Roman Reigns, we get Bobby Lashley.
I love seeing, because Roman Reigns is not scared to take a punch. This is why I think he's so good in the ring. He's not scared to take a punch. I love seeing him take Finn Balor's offense and make it look like it's really doing something to him. Because Finn Balor's like 5'2", 130 pounds. So when he hits a guy the size of Roman Reigns, it's not actually going to hurt him. But when Reigns leans into those punches and he goes down hard on that sling blade, like, that was really cool. Watching, I don't get enough of Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns.
No, until it gets stale at one point,
I'm sure
AJ and Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I said, the rest of the night was just blah.
Yeah, Dolph Ziggler faced Bobby Roode for the 900th time.
Yeah, and you made a point about that, and even Crimson, aka the Botcher, he said, well, that happened on SmackDown. Now they're on Raw.
Same match again. I've seen it.
But the thing I mentioned was that the fact that their feud was actually cut short due to Survivor Series.
That's true.
We never got. We only got. I think they stood at just 1-1. They never finished the rubber match because of Survivor Series.
Yeah, they had to pretend to be friends for a month.
Yeah. I thought the match was okay. Dolph Ziggler won without the help of Drew McIntyre, by the way.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. The only other good thing I can say was the Alexa Bliss promo.
Sure.
And the fact that Ronda Rousey disobeyed her suspension.
Yep.
And not only did she disobey her suspension, she got a match at SummerSlam.
Yep, just cause. Hasn't had
because she's friends with Kurt Angle,
Hasn't had a match since her last match. Yeah, let's just throw her in the championship again.
Well, again, first of all, they're going to be in the mecca of pro wrestling, which is, New York City, Barclays. Top fans out there. Yeah. August 19th, SummerSlam. I will be attending NXT TakeOver. If any of you guys want to come through, come check us out. I might do a live broadcast from the Barclays Center. I'm still debating. We're trying to get the botcher out here. Well, not the botcher, sorry. The screw job. But he may have conflicting schedules.
Yeah.
So, moving on to SmackDown yet again, which was the better show.
We had Andrade Cien Almas.
And AJ Styles, which was a great match.
Excellent. Oh, man, that was a great...
Not only that, we got Shinsuke and Jeff Hardy, which was another good match.
Yeah. We got the return again of Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe beating the hell out of Ty Dillinger. Gotta give it to Ty Dillinger, though. He didn't back down.
I love Ty Dillinger. I want for good things to happen to Ty Dillinger. I love his gimmick. I think he's really good, and I think he's one of those guys who, when these top guys sort of start moving on, he's going to step in for them, even though he's not that young. He's like wrestling young. He's like 30, I think. So,
well, you got to remember the roster is just stacked on both shows.
It really is. There's no room for Ty Dillinger, but I like him. And I want him to win like a U.S. title or something.
And this is one of the fears that I have, is because we know after SummerSlam they usually do call-ups.
Oh God, there's no room. There's
no room, and I hope to God that they do not call up the Undisputed Era, because I love what those guys are doing down at NXT right now. It's probably one of the best factions in wrestling besides the Bullet Club. For any of you guys who don't know what the Bullet Club is, you guys need to do your research. But yeah, like, they just don't call no. If you're gonna call up a woman, Nikki Cross, and put her on SmackDown with Sanity. How about that?
That's true. You know what? Yeah, absolutely. Call up a couple of women wrestlers and call up. That's it. Yeah, just a couple of women's wrestlers. Like, we don't need anything. We don't need any more. Mid-carders. We don't need any more tag teams. We don't need any more,
I mean, Raw could use some tag teams. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, and maybe they do that. Maybe Undisputed Era goes to Raw to not show up next to the Authors of Pain.
Hey, we got an Author of Pain sighting, though. We got Authors of Pain sighting.
We did. I was really excited.
Did they look good? They look good. They look good.
They crushed Titus Worldwide.
So, continuing with SmackDown, shout out to The Miz for holding a eulogy for Team Hell No.
Excellent.
I thought that promo was awesome.
Good. And that's going to set up, Daniel Bryan against The Miz at SummerSlam. I was kind of hoping for that to be a WrestleMania blow-off, but,
just the fact that Daniel Bryan came down to the ring, didn't say a word, just went in there and tried to rip The Miz apart.
Yep. Like,
awesome.
It's a callback to, when Daniel Bryan started in WWE 1,000 years ago. Like, he hates The Miz. Like, his thing is he hates The Miz. Like, all he wants to do is beat the hell out of The Miz. And I love it. I'll watch that any day.
Shout out to Becky Lynch for getting another win and also finally getting an opportunity. If she beats Carmella next week, she gets to get a title match at SummerSlam. Yeah. Hey.
You know what? Whatever.
Chances are she might lose. I don't know. They got something going on. They got this whole... the thing is, like we said before, Carmella's the new Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
You're leaving the title on her for what?
I don't know. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, I understand she has the title for purposes of... She has to lose it to somebody, right? She's not champion material right now. She's a transitional champion, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We need those kinds of people because we don't want, we don't want Charlotte Flair having to face Asuka every pay-per-view, right? We need someone else to face Asuka and lose to Asuka. So I don't understand why Carmella's still the champion. They need to take the title off of her, and they need to put it on Asuka, for God's sake.
Yes, they need to put it on Asuka. I mean, I think she can carry the SmackDown Women's Division.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hands down. Now, the thing is that I know Charlotte Flair will return on July 31st. So if come next Tuesday, Becky Lynch does not beat Carmella, which I see happening because of AKA James Ellsworth, I see Charlotte coming back and saying, you know what, I want to challenge Carmella at SummerSlam for the title. She wins the title, drops it at Survivor Series to Asuka, enters the Royal Rumble. She wins the Rumble, challenges Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. You know what? I should be a fucking promoter. Because that just sounds awesome just on its own.
Right? Like that's the thing that always pisses me off about this stuff. Like it writes itself. Now, of course, someone might get injured or suspended or arrested between now and then, but the storylines really write themselves, and it's not hard to see. And what you need is you just need to make sure you have something for everybody. And you don't need Roman Reigns in the ring for 15 minutes every night, right?
Nope.
I understand that you got to advertise him and he's got to be in the building, right? Because he's your moneymaker, right? He's John Cena right now. So I understand that Roman Reigns needs to be on camera. He needs to get down to the ring at some point. But he could be in a dark match for the fans. He could be, just give a promo. He could be backstage. Like, there's a lot of things you can do. He doesn't need 20, 25 minutes on the air every week. And that way, that opens up time so that the Authors of Pain can show up every week. Because they do need to be there. The reason why we love Roman Reigns is because, some of us love Roman Reigns. It's because we got to see him, and we got to see him be awesome for a long time. We need to see other people be awesome so that we can love them.
And it's not only to be awesome. Listen, I was a Roman Reigns fan when he was with the Shield at the beginning. And like I've said this in past episodes, when he was hot, guess what? WWE did not pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. He needed, and they missed.
And it's kind of what they did with Braun Strowman.
Yep.
It's kind of what they did with Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was hot. They didn't pull the trigger at the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
But they did the right thing. They gave him Money in the Bank. He got the contract.
Yeah, but I mean,
hopefully he saves us at SummerSlam.
I need him. We'll talk about SummerSlam. When SummerSlam's coming up, but he needs to, whatever the match is, he needs to make it a triple threat or a fatal four-way. Like that's what he needs to do, and he needs to win the title at SummerSlam. Like it doesn't make any sense for him to be the guy like The Miz or Dolph Ziggler who holds on to the briefcase for 300 days. Like that's not what we need.
But like I said, shout out to SmackDown. Like I said, for putting on a great show. We got, like we said, we got Almas and Styles. We got Shinsuke and Hardy. Now, I want to go to this Jeff Hardy match and Shinsuke match. Right to the end, Jeff Hardy hits the Twist of Fate. He hits the Swanton Bomb. 1, 2, wham, comes out the ring. And Randy Orton just beats the hell out of Jeff Hardy.
Dude.
Now, a lot of people are trying to wonder why. Like, it's just like one of those things, like, why the hell is he beating the hell out of him? Like, what did Jeff Hardy do that he's beating the hell out of him?
Why, you could hear Randy Orton say, like, ask me why. Like, he was yelling, ask me why, at Jeff Hardy, who couldn't talk because he was getting his head caved in.
Not only he's getting his head caved in, did you see the spot where he started pulling on his earlobes?
On his...
Listen, to all our fans out there, I have gauges, and my gauges are not as big as Jeff Hardy's. But to have somebody pull the inside of your earlobe, shout out to Jeff Hardy for holding that much pain.
I can't even imagine.
And he's like really tugging at it. You can see like it's
like
and you can hear the comments like, oh my god, oh he's gonna rip his ear apart. Like that right there had me more invested than everything that happened on Monday Night Raw.
Because you've been there. Like, you can see that happen.
I love the fact that the old Randy Orton is back.
If that like I said earlier, if that's the Randy Orton that we're getting, then I'm excited for it, right? Like he takes out Jeff Hardy. I was kind of hoping at Extreme Rules to get a punt, right? Like we haven't seen Randy Orton punt somebody in the head in years.
That would be tough. I mean, I would love to see it. And then I love the fact how after he beat the living hell out of Jeff Hardy, he goes, "Where's Shinsuke?" Like, dude, he left like 5 hours ago because you're too busy beating the hell out of Jeff Hardy.
You spent like 20 minutes beating up Jeff Hardy. Shinsuke left. He's home.
But like I said, if I had to rate SmackDown, I'll give it, like I said, I'll give it a 9 because that's just how good it was.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was very good. We didn't get anything crazy. We did get Kofi, even Kofi and Eric Young match was great.
It was a good match. It was a just fine match. I continue to be surprised by how much I like Eric Young. Also, I love Killian Dane grabbing Xavier Woods and throwing him at Kofi Kingston because Killian Dane is a monster.
That was awesome. That was awesome. So, guys, this is our episode of the Announcers Table. We spoke about Extreme Rules. We threw some NXT in there. We threw when Charlotte Flair will return. We threw the return of Radio. I mean, we did everything today.
We did. You literally could not ask for more.
I think I even threw the Bullet Club in there. A little New Japan Pro Wrestling in there. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I love the fact, like I said, hopefully, I'm going to put a post out there. We're trying to get another co-host, hopefully a female co-host. The last one of our other episodes where we did have a female on there, it was just a really great episode. Just to get the female perspective of professional wrestling and how they felt about storyline. And I just thought that was probably one of the best episodes we've had. I'm going to try to see what we can do. But you know what? I'm going to stop talking. I'm gonna take the mic out my hand and I'm gonna hand it over to everybody's most lovable co-host, the Canadian Screwjob. Hertzgevertz, take us out.
Thanks everybody for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe to all of our podcasts. Like and subscribe to our YouTube page. Find us on Facebook, Geeks Unlimited. Find us on Instagram, Geeks Unlimited. Follow us. Like everything that we do because everything we do is awesome. And we do it all for you guys. Thank you so much. And we will see you next week. Maybe, if Raw is anything worthwhile. Maybe we'll do a Lucha Underground show. I don't know. We'll see you next week, maybe.
Impact.
We'll do an Impact and Lucha Underground review.
All right, Wrestle Geeks. Until the next episode.